The Little Princess and the Magical Dessert Lab. In the heart of the cloud-top mountains, where the mist curled like cotton candy and the wind chimed like silver bells, there stood a marvelous place known to every child in the kingdom's Starlace Magical Academy. It was a school where young wizards learned to paint with moonlight, future fairies practiced growing rainbow flowers, and tiny dragons studied how to breathe safe, friendly puffs of fire. And among all these magical students was Princess Lyria, a 4-year-old little princess who had hair like morning sunshine and cheeks round and pink like peach macarons. Princess Lyria loved 3 things more than anything else: sparkles, kindness, and desserts. So when she saw today's class printed on her shimmering timetable Magical Dessert Experiment Lab, she squealed so loudly that her pet cloud cat, Puffy, rolled right off her bed and bounced twice like a marshmallow.
Today, I am going to invent the most amazing magical dessert in the whole world,
Lyria whispered, hugging Puffy. Chapter 1. A Sweet Beginning. The Magical Dessert Lab was inside a tall tower shaped like a giant cupcake, complete with a swirly frosting roof and glittering sugar sprinkles that fell like snow whenever someone laughed too loudly. As Lyria stepped inside, she smelled warm vanilla, roasted chestnuts, cinnamon sparkles, and something else. Something mysterious, like dreams dipped in honey. The classroom was filled with tiny cooking stations, each with floating bowls, talking spatulas, and sugar jars that greeted every student politely.
Good day, young chef. Remember to measure carefully. Don't sneeze inside me.
Lyria giggled. She loved the sugar jars most of all. At the front of the room, Professor Butterblossom, a plump fairy with wings shaped like butter cookies, fluttered happily.
Welcome, little chefs.
She chimed.
Today you will create your very own magical dessert. But remember, magic is powerful. You must mix it with care, kindness, and attention.
Lyria nodded seriously. She always tried to be careful, but sometimes her excitement bounced faster than her brain.
Your task is to create a dessert that helps someone feel better. It may help them feel brave or calm or cheerful, whatever your heart chooses.
The professor continued. Lyria's eyes sparkled. She knew exactly what she wanted to make.
A dessert that helps people feel confident. Something that says, you can do it, even when you're scared.
She whispered. Chapter 2. The Princess's Plan. Puffy settled on a cloud above her station, acting as a fluffy supervisor. Lyria looked at all the magical ingredients on her station. Stardust flour, whipped rainbow cream, dreamberries, mist milk, sunbeam sugar, and glowing vanilla pods that hummed. Gently, Lyria tapped her chin.
What dessert makes people feel brave?
She wondered. A cupcake? A pudding? A cookie? A floating jelly? A bravery pie? She closed her eyes and thought about her Mama Queen comforting her when she felt nervous, about her Papa King cheering for her when she learned a new spell, and about how warm and safe she felt inside. Then she knew.
A bravery puff,
Lyria exclaimed. It would be a soft, little puff pastry filled with warm, glowing jam that whispered kind messages to anyone who ate it. She clapped her hands excitedly, and her whisk jumped to attention.
Let's start.
Chapter 3. The First Mix-Up. Lyria scooped a cloud-light heap of stardust flour into her floating bowl. The flour twinkled, humming a soft tune. Then she added 1 spoonful of sunbeam sugar. Just 1. But the sugar jar wiggled in excitement and said,
Oh, sweetness makes everyone happy. Maybe you want 3 spoonfuls. No, thank you. Just 1.
Lyria said politely. The jar nodded proudly. Next, Lyria cracked an egg that contained a tiny burst of morning sunlight. The bowl glowed gold.
This going perfectly,
she said. But then, her whisk spun too enthusiastically, zooming in circles, sprinkling flour everywhere like a snowstorm. Puffy sneezed and puffed out a tiny cloudburst that made the bowl spin faster.
Stop, stop!
Lyria cried, chasing the runaway whisk. The whisk bonked into the vanilla pod jar, which fell open ka-ping, sending 3 pods tumbling into the bowl. The bowl shimmered, shook, rumbled. Poof! Suddenly, the mixture expanded 10 times in size, turning into a giant wiggly jelly blob with sparkles popping like fireworks.
Oh dear,
Lyria whispered. The blob jiggled ominously.
Hello.
It said in a deep, puddingy voice. Lyria froze. Puffy meowed in pure alarm. The blob jiggled again.
I think I am too big.
Princess Lyria raised her hand.
Yes? Yes, you are.
Professor Butterblossom hurried over.
My dear princess, it seems your enthusiasm added more magic than you planned. But don't worry, that's why we practice,
she said gently. Lyria felt her cheeks warm. She hated making mistakes. But the professor's voice was soft and kind. With a wave of her wand, the professor turned the blob back into glowing ingredients. Lyria took a tiny breath.
I'll try again. That's the spirit, my dear,
she said. Chapter 4. Trying again. This time, Lyria moved slowly, like a careful turtle.
1 scoop of stardust flour, 1 spoon of sunbeam sugar, 1 vanilla pod only. No extra sneezes, please, Puffy.
Puffy dutifully held his sneeze, cheeks puffing out like a tiny balloon. Lyria stirred gently while humming a brave little tune. She added dreamberry juice, just 3 drops. The mixture swirled into a warm pink glow. Then she whispered the magic words taught by Professor Butterblossom.
Keramus Kindus Hartus Glow.
The batter shimmered. It felt calm and hopeful and warm. Lyria smiled.
Yes, this feels right.
She shaped the mixture into tiny puffs and placed them in the floating oven. The oven dinged cheerfully. And then out floated the cutest, warmest puff pastries Lyria had ever seen. Each one glowed softly, like a tiny lantern. She picked one up. It whispered gently.
You are enough. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm proud of you.
Lyria's eyes sparkled.
They work.
Chapter 5. A Friend in Need. But just as she was about to show Professor Butterblossom, she heard a sniffle behind her. At Station 9, a small girl named Mira sat hunched over her cauldron, shoulders trembling. Her dessert was a drippy mess. The frosting had turned blue, then green, then suddenly sprouted wings and flown away screaming,
I refuse to be eaten.
Mira covered her face.
I just wanted to make something good, but I always mess up,
she whispered. Lyria held one of her bravery puffs close to her heart. This, she thought, is exactly what I made them for. She walked over and gently placed the warm puff in Mira's hands.
Try it,
she said softly. Mira sniffled, then took a tiny bite. The glow spread softly over her cheeks.
I feel braver and lighter,
Mira whispered.
You are brave and I can help you. We can make a new dessert together,
said Lyria.
Really? Even though mine was a disaster?
Lyria nodded.
Everyone makes mistakes. Today I made a giant talking jelly monster.
Mira blinked.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Together they mixed, stirred, and laughed. Mira's new dessert, a sparkle smoothie, was cheerful, wiggly, and only a little bit sticky. But it was hers, and it worked, and she glowed with pride. Chapter 6. The Sweetest Reward. At the end of class, Professor Butterblossom inspected everyone's work. When she reached Lyria and Mira, she paused, eyes crinkling with pride.
Princess Lyria, your dessert not only contains beautiful magic, but you used it to help a classmate. That is the greatest magic of all,
She said. Lyria's cheeks warmed. Mira squeezed her hand. The professor lifted her wand, and tiny cookie crumbs shaped like stars floated above Lyria's head.
For kindness, creativity, and courage, I present you the golden whisk ribbon,
She declared. Everyone clapped and cheered. The star crumbs rained down, sparkling. Lyria felt warm and proud, not because she won, but because she had helped someone. Final chapter, The Magic That Matters. That night, back in the princess's cozy tower dorm, Puffy curled up on her lap. Lyria held a bravery puff close, letting it whisper gentle words.
You did your best today, and that is magical.
It murmured. Lyria smiled sleepily.
I learned something important. Magic isn't about perfect spells or fancy desserts. It's about helping people feel better. It's about kindness,
She whispered. Puffy purred in agreement. And as the moon shone softly through the window, Princess Lyria drifted into warm, sweet dreams. Dreams filled with glowing pastries, giggling sugar jars, and the bright confidence she had shared with others. Because in Starlace Magical Academy, the strongest magic wasn't stardust or spells. It was a kind heart.